Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Today I want to show off a few of the toys I acquired in the month of June. It was a pretty active month actually, um, mostly due to me finding some pretty good deals. I probably actually passed by more opportunities than I took advantage of, um, but I still probably bought way too much stuff this month. But that's okay. I'll own that. But what I wanted to also focus on in this video is a little comparison. If you watch the May Toy Haul, um, which apparently is that direction, if you watch the May Toy Haul, I was showing off the Marvel famous covers figures that were produced in 98, 99. They did a few waves, 8.5 to 9 inch figures. Pretty good. Pretty good figures. I like them. I'm collecting a few of those, not all of them, but a few of those. But there were a few that I was a little disappointed in. I didn't like the head sculpts in particular. Um, there were some issues with them, some issues with the costumes, um, and then I happened to come across the Marvel Legends Signature Series of figures produced in 2006. Um, Same scale, but with sculpts and designs that, for the most part, I actually prefer. So I wanted to show a few of both. Let's just start off with one that I did show last time, from the famous covers series. This is Thor. He's got the hammer. He's got the helmet with a slightly crooked wing, the long flowing hair, the cape, etc. Now, this one typifies a lot of what I like with this line. The design's really good, and it's pretty comic accurate. It's got a lot of heft. It's got a lot of chunk. It's very sturdy. It stands well. Big boots. They're a little bit heavy, and they do help the figure to stand up nicely. But it also has what I think of as sort of the downside to these figures, which is the face is a little extreme, a little distorted for my tastes. You can kind of tell it came from that 90s period of comic books where everything was extreme, and I know there's a lot of people that love that period. It wasn't my favorite. It actually, some of that kind of art just, and plus a few other changes in comic books, kind of got me to stop collecting at the time. But overall, a really good figure, and it has a lot going for it. This next one is a recent arrival from that line, which is sort of sitting on a stand, although frankly the stand does not hold on to the figure well. This is, of course, the Falcon, well known from Captain America comics and his own limited series, and of course he's become more prominent recently at Marvel and the Marvel Universe. Again, a good figure. He's got a lot of heft. As a matter of fact, let me take him off this stand. The stand has a hard time holding him because he's got a very broad chest, and he has these wings. But I had a little trouble with him standing up, so I was trying to work on using that stand to make him stand up a little bit better. These guys, they have feet that move. It's great for posing, but it can be a little difficult to make them stand at times. He's a little top heavy. The head's a little small for the body, but I got a really good deal on him, and I always have liked the Falcon quite a bit. He's always been one of my favorites. But he has the wings, which are very cool. They'll spread out. In fact, you can kind of see the back, how they slide on that peg. And he's overall a great figure. Like Thor, he's got a lot of heft to him, a lot of chunk. He's very sturdy. He, as a few of these have, have taken headers off of a shelf, and they have survived the experience unharmed. So, you know, a nice figure. I like him. I'm glad I got him. I have a Hawkeye figure from the Famous Covers series on the way, because it was another sculpt that I liked. There's a few others I think I'm going to try to get from that line. Now I'm going to set him down before I do break him. Now one of the figures though from that line that I was not real pleased with was Captain America. Weird looking face on him. He's like screaming, you know, which again, it's based on covers, and in the cover he's kind of yelling, so it makes sense, but it's just sort of weird to have this figure sitting there screaming all the time. And they made like the star kind of misshapen, too big on the chest. And so one of the first ones from the signature collection that I found was Captain America, and that was the first one I bought from the line. Now again, I got him on a stand at the moment. He fits into it a little bit better. You can kind of see he is far less extreme in his overall shape. Take the stand off here. I don't want to be standoffish. Oh yeah, I'm a dad, so I can make dad jokes. So he doesn't have that sort of extreme look to him. Pretty darn comic accurate, great costume. Also a fair amount of heft to the figures. They're pretty darn solid. Great costume. Get it up close. Great face. The shield attaches to the arm, so when it's on there, it really doesn't move. I just noticed his hands a little funky looking underneath there, but that's okay. So good figure. Very happy with it. He has also taken a header off of a shelf and survived. You know, hey, he's Captain America after all. The belt might be, no, the belt's right. Now, the one issue with these figures that I've seen, the feet actually can turn all the way backwards. There is a little more difficulty in getting these to stand than in the Famous Covers series, which is why I got some stands that can help along with that. But having several Avengers figures, I had to get Captain America. I want to put together a little Avengers collection with these guys, and I think this is an outstanding figure. It looks fantastic. And if you've been looking at the bottom of this screen here, you no doubt have seen the next one I'm going to show off, which is Spider-Man. Now this is based upon the original Ditko Spidey. If you can kind of tell, he has the webbing between the arms. The eyes are a little big, I think, for a Ditko, but overall pretty good. Again, good heft to it. A little difficult with those feet of getting him to stand up properly. But another great costume, great design, and I'm super happy about this one. I like you got the fingers on the hand are set up for, you know, either he's going to a rock concert or he's shooting webs. But a real nice one. They have a few Spidey villains. I've only got one so far, but they also have the Green Goblin and Sandman, both of which look great, both of which I want. But the one that I got already is the fabulous Dr. Octopus. The arms rotate, they don't really bend per se, but I think they got, you know, his face down beautifully. He's a little heftier, so he's, you know, a little chunky, but again, great costume. Again, the only problem is those feet, getting him to stand up, but he'll look great when I get the rest of the classic Spidey villains and Spider-Man set up in sort of a little display. One more. Now, this is a character that I was never like super into in the comics, but I thought this toy was absolutely fantastic. It just looked great. And that is the Punisher. And you could count him as a Spidey villain if you want to, because he certainly was. He's got a rather oversized gun, but I guess that sort of works with the Punisher. But you got the emblem, you got the belt, and he actually does stand up pretty darn well. But I thought this one just looked fantastic. I think they got it to a T. At least, you know, the more classic version when he was a villain who was out there hunting down, you know, Spider-Man and getting in trouble with the Marvel heroes, rather than going around and waging war on crime in his own comic books. So that's the Marvel Legends Signature Series 2006. Some really solid items. There's a Daredevil that looks great that I'm probably going to try to get. Like I said, Sandman, Green Goblin. They have a nice looking Wolverine. I think I might opt for the famous covers version that's in the 80s Wolverine colors, because that's when I started collecting that comic. It was that different, like I think it was sort of a brown orange color scheme. It's when Storm was still doing the punk thing. I wish there was a punk Storm figure out there. But yeah, quite a few nice ones from that series that I'm probably going to get. And as a result of looking those up, I discovered very similar figures from DC, the Silver Age collection, that I'm already eyeballing. I did not really intend to get a bunch of 9-inch tall superhero figures, and here I am. So quickly, I thought I'd go through a few other figures that I managed to pick up this month. We'll start off. I've actually done a whole video about Thor Santana from White Elephant Toys and Brian Heiler of Plaid Stallions fame. Great figure, really awesome. You know, could be like a sidekick to the Punisher, maybe. She might be even actually a little scarier than the Punisher. I don't know if he could handle her. I also picked up, and I'm holding this one up for a reason. I picked up a vintage Mego Incredible Hulk from the 8-inch line. Except he's not really 8 inches tall. He's actually a little less than 8 inches tall. And you can see that Thor is taller than the Incredible Hulk. But I got a really good deal on this figure, and it is vintage. And the Marvel ones are not as easy to come by. So I jumped at it. That's a lie. I agonized for about 2 days. And then finally jumped at it. His arms, I'm trying to be real careful with it. I'm not going to move him around a lot. This one's actually a little bit out of joint. Let's see. I don't want to mess with him too much. Classic figure, though. And along with him, same dealer, I managed to pick up at a good price. Whoa. All right, calm down there. I managed to pick up the Duke Boys, Bo and Luke. I was a massive Dukes of Hazzard fan as a kid. I got to meet Tom Wopat at an Autorama show here in Las Vegas when I was little. I don't know how old I would have been at the time. I was pretty young, and I was pretty psyched. They had the General Lee there, Tom Wopat. He was signing autographs. I still have the autograph. I don't think I have it close. Is it? Yeah, I'm not going to do it now. Well, and sadly enough, you hardly can see the autograph now in the picture. It was a picture of the General Lee. You know how old you were when the Dukes of Hazzard came along? If you were primarily focused on the General Lee, this is for guys anyways, General Lee, or whether you're focused on Daisy Duke. And I'll admit, my focus was on the General Lee. I was that young. But yeah, Tom Wopat got his autograph. I did an impression of Roscoe P. Coltrane for him. It's great to be young, and great memory. And so these guys came up at a really good price too, and so I jumped at it. Last one, I showed off one of these on the last big toy stream from the Fighting Furies line. Whoa. And a guy who has knees that bend backwards, apparently. We have the other pirate from the line. There are two pirates in the line. They come with different clothing that you can put them in. He's got the hook going, he's got his sash going, and this one, I finally found the little button on his side that you can use to move his arm. Are you ready? Get ready for this. This is pretty intense action. It may be too much for you. That's what you get. So essentially, kind of looks like he's having a stroke. So, but dude, this is such a fantastic figure. Look at the head sculpt on this guy. Look at that with the little lock of hair. Awesome figure. And again, I got him at a good price. And when I found out there were only two figures in that line, I thought, well, yeah, get the other figure. I wasn't like, I don't know if I want to collect something. There's two figures. Collect both of them. I got them. Last one up. This one. This thing has been on Amazon at a low price for quite a while. And I hemmed and I hawed, and I finally went ahead and did it because the price was really good. This is, yeah, Deathstroke the Terminator, well known from the Teen Titans. Comes with the sword, comes with a gun, and it is a really good figure. You see the boots, and he's got, a knife strapped to his leg. He's got this other gun strapped down here. So it's got all sorts of doodads and goodies. It's a great representation of the mask. It's a great representation of the costume. I finally just had to go ahead and pull the trigger on this guy. I guess he's sort of the spiritual equivalent of the Punisher, although at a much smaller scale. But really a great figure. You can, I think, still find these on Amazon. I want to say around $15. If you like DC heroes and villains, I think you got to go out and get this guy. I guess maybe they didn't sell well when they were initially put out, and so they're out there at low prices. But what a fantastic figure! Great color, great work on the costume. I hate you, Robin. And there we go. That's the haul for the month of June. So again, I'd say the big takeaways for me are these Marvel Legends signature figures. Really fantastic figures. A little difficulty in making them stand up because of very posable feet. So obviously they were trying to do something good, and maybe it didn't work out that well. But great costuming on them. A lot of heft. They are pretty solid, and they will stand up generally. I just recently got into a bad spate of these guys taking headers off of a shelf. Maybe it's the heat. I don't know. But I highly suggest them, and they are a good companion piece to the famous covers figures. Oh, I will mention also that the Punisher figure came with a reprint of his first appearance in SpiderMan, which was fun to read. I had never gotten to read that one before, so that was nice. So that's the June haul from Dad's Den of Pop Culture. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, please subscribe, please share it with your friends, and until next time, God bless you. Be kind to one another if you can, and I will see you next time around in Dad's Den.